South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem says South Dakota will challenge President Biden if he mandates vaccines. Oh, look. We will not be mandating COVID-19 vaccinations. The Biden administration has no business forcing vaccination of the American people through executive decree. President Biden mandates vaccines. Oh, it's nice of her to recognize that. If. See, Kristi, you went and you screwed the pooch for everybody. You ruined it. Because finally, someone admits it's not a mandate. It's a testing mandate. The vaccine is optional. If you don't want to have to deal with all the testing to prove you don't have COVID in a large group of people, you can go get vaccinated. You should go get vaccinated. It's a good idea. But if you don't want to get vaccinated, get a fucking test. Even if you have a religious exemption, stop it. You don't have the right to bring a disease into a room full of people and pretend you're not. Asshole. Anti-Christian, anti-American, violent, doesn't believe in consent, coughing all over people. Because here's the thing. Even if, and this is another if, even if, let's say you're one of these anti-mask folks before they end up on a ventilator choking on their own lung juice, those folks, most of them view themselves as patriots. They say that shit all the time. And as Christians, right? These are the two things. But apparently, they believe that coughing on or potentially spreading a disease to somebody is warranted in Jesus-like patriotic behavior, which it isn't. If you're a patriot and a Christian, you can wear a mask in the areas where the larger societies ask you to wear the mask, and then talk to people through the mask and go, I don't actually think these are necessary. I'm basically doing it in deference to people right now, but we really don't need to be wearing these things. And we should look into instead of, I'm losing oxygen, I can't think, tyranny, right? But the best thing about this article is Governor Kristi Noem. This should be the headline. USA Today, you need a new headline. Governor Kristi Noem admits the Biden administration has no vaccine mandates. Even federal workers, you can quit. You don't have to work for the government. This is not communism. We don't live in socialism, right? I don't believe in the socialism of the I don't believe in big government. That's why I'm a federal worker. What? I work as a federal worker to make sure that I do my job so shitty that people don't want help from the federal government anymore. That's why I'm not getting a vaccine. This is the goofy bullshit around this. It's nuts. Thanks for the if President Biden mandates vaccines, South Dakota will see him in court. Well, he ain't dumb. He's not. It's a testing mandate, if anything. There's no vaccine mandate. You're an asshole. And you blew it for everybody. Those two letters slammed together. Right, in this article, totally ruined Ben Shapiro's week. I mean, and Glenn Beck's week. And Newsmax's week, and OAN. Way to go, Kristi. Blow it for everybody. Pitiful. How the grind to 25K is real. I know we're getting close. We're almost at 25,000 subscribers. Which is again another force accelerator. As many people know, we were in the algorithm when we were trying to hit 5,000. Once we hit 5,000, it was way easier to hit 10. Once we hit 10, it's a long slog to 25. Once you hit 25, getting to 100 is easier because the algorithm starts to take you seriously. You start popping up. People start recognizing that you're doing more stuff and all that kind of thing and thingy. So yes, we are getting close. We have to have some sort of 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, special or something on my birthday. Oh shit! If we could hit 25K, we'll probably hit it before my birthday. I don't want to brag, but I think so. My birthday's on the 25th. That should be our goal. Try to hit 25,000 subscribers by the 25th. That's a good one, right? For a birthday present, that would work. Yes, and anybody who's a troll, please hit the dislike. Please give a thumbs down because it boosts us in the algorithm. Engagement is king. Submit to the subscription. Yes. So, I immolate optimists? I don't think so. I don't think you can ever even dent my optimism. Yes, September 25th is my birthday. You emulate, I see. I think immolate means to impale. Opposing view. Oh, Kristi Noem, if President Biden mandates vaccine, South Dakota will see him in court. Opposing view. I'd encourage Americans to get vaccinated as it did, but that choice is theirs to make, not the federal government's to make for them. Oh, so she wrote this. This is an op-ed she sent in. Last week, Joe Biden claims it's not about freedom of personal choice regarding vaccines and the value of personal responsibility. Well, that's, yeah. As far as testing goes, right. You don't have the right to smuggle a poorly constructed pipe bomb in the trunk of your car all over town. If you get pulled over, you're going to get fucking arrested. Because, well, it's not wired up. Yeah, but if you get rear-ended, it'll blow up. Yeah, but I'm a good driver. Fuck off. But my freedom and responsibility. I don't have an assembled bomb. I have all the parts loosely tied together with wire. The Constitution grants public health authority to the states. Yeah, except in a pandemic. Good Lord. And we have an emergency authorization. So, like, or the, what's it called? Emergency declaration, beg your pardon. We will not be mandating COVID-19 vaccinations in South Dakota. Yeah, you'll just watch the number of dead tick up. It'll all be dead Trump voters. You'll be weirded out because your state's turning purple. People go, how did South Dakota turn purple? Did the politics change? No, you killed off all your own voters, you dumbass. You aligned freedom and flag hugging with not getting the vaccine and not wearing a mask, and your people are dying. Bifurcate the two, separate them, and you might have saved your voters. But they're so entwined right now that there's no separating them in certainly in the next election cycle, but certainly not, very possibly not for the next presidential election. Under the 10th Amendment, public health is left to the states. The powers not delegated to the states by the Constitution or prohibited by the states reserved to the states, respectively, or to the people. Guarantee the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is an overarching providing for the common welfare. The common welfare passes over state lines, dipshit. The material way you carry it out, because like the federal government isn't going to say everybody needs Jeeps to get the vaccine out to their citizens in fucking Kansas, where all you need is a bus. Or, like a Tercel. Whereas in South Dakota, you might need Jeeps and trucks to get the vaccine out to people out in the rural areas. So the federal government doesn't define how you do it, just that you do it. Shut the fuck up with this 10th Amendment nonsense. The 10th Amendment doesn't let states go, we have decided our voters liked me, so they voted me in, and I've decided that half our voters don't deserve to live. So the federal government cannot tell me not to starve my people. And of course, I have the right to limit interstate commerce too. Like Chief Justice John Marshall Gibbons, or not an opinion, 1824. Jesus Christ, in 1824. Fucking hell. Because the federal government gave somebody the right to use the rivers, they gave them a lease that the state couldn't hand out. That's your reasoning. Reiterated this fact: America's founding fathers were familiar with responding to public health crises. No, they were fucking not. They absolutely were not. They had no idea we would have this many people flying from other countries with this many diseases at any given time and that we would need a CDC and an NIH. Then why did they create one? Why isn't there a National Institute for Health in the Constitution? How come there's no Center for Disease Control in the Constitution? It's anti-constitutional. How come NASA, if they said, okay. Why do NASA's astronauts have to quarantine when they come back? Look, where the state of Florida knows that when an astronaut returns to Earth, they have no pathogens. The federal government did not mandate response to faced outbreaks of diseases such as yellow fever. The federal government did not mandate the response to outbreaks state and local. They left them alone because they couldn't do anything about it. Guess y'all are fucked was pretty much the answer. I will say, good shoulder development on the right side, needs to put in a little on the left. It might be that she's actually holding something in her right hand, but if you're going for that kind of even cut, she's doing fairly solid. I will say, Kristi, whatever. What do you think? CrossFit? She reeks of the Christian CrossFit movement, I think. By overplaying his hand, Biden may inadvertently increase vaccine hesitancy. He may cause Republican voters to stomp their feet and not get the vaccine just to own the libs. That's what she's talking about. This is not about what Biden's doing. This is her recognizing that her voter base, her contempt for and her belief in the ignorance and idiocy of her voter base. That's what she's stating here. Biden may inadvertently increase vaccine hesitancy. Inadvertently, meaning Republicans. By saying our patience is wearing thin, yeah. On behalf of medical professionals, the rest of society, looking at the dealing of the Delta variant spreading through rural hospitals and seeing all the people that are getting turned away or having to get oxygen in the fucking parking lot or being told to wait in their car when they've had an injury because of COVID in these places. Yeah, it's fucking annoying. The president risks demonizing the American people. No. The demonic people amongst the American people are getting antsy that they're being called out on their bullshit. People should know the facts. They should know what conditions may make them vulnerable to serious health consequences from the virus, which means she doesn't believe that everybody needs to be vaccinated. They should know how effective the vaccines are, and they should make the best decisions for them and their loved ones. They do know. Vast majority of people don't have a problem. Go talk to your doctor if you're concerned at all. And they should make the best decisions for themselves and their loved ones. Based on the statistics, the best decision is to get fucking vaccinated ASAP. And if you've got young ones in the house and you're worried about, like, what if my 15-year-old son has heart inflammation because of that? That concerns me and worries me. Well, then you should get vaccinated right fucking away so you don't bring it home to him, dum-dum. We will continue to make the vaccine available to everyone in the state and work with our health care providers to take care of the people who live here. Thankfully, we're making progress in the fight against the virus. Therapeutics are proving more effective all the time, except when they're not. Data out of South Dakota hospitals shows that monoclonal antibody treatments are cutting hospitalizations of vulnerable individuals. Are cutting hospitalizations of vulnerable individuals. Enough? Probably not. Let's see. COVID-19 vaccination. This is Sanford Health. Can slow surge, but are they? Can. Written by Courtney. Hi, Courtney. Sanford Health is still projected to see a continued surge in COVID-19 cases late September into early October, but there are ways to avoid your own trip to the hospital. Numbers of hospitalized patients in the intensive care unit, and patients on ventilators have increased significantly week over week. I don't know that Kristi Noem, this is the fucking third sentence in the thing she's citing. What? Look at this. Oh, I'll squeeze this down a little bit. Yeah. See a continued surge in late September, early October. That's not now, that's coming. Numbers of hospitalized patients in the intensive care unit and patients on ventilators. Once you get on the ventilator, man, it's hard to get off. Have increased significantly week over week. They're piling up. They're expected to peak early this fall before they begin to drop off. Why? Because the number of dead, will significantly take links out of the contagion chain. They're basically using a Spanish flu system, which is people live far enough apart that if everybody in a house has had it and only one person has died, the dead person was the one that did all the shopping, went into town, and they're dead now. So the rest of the family's going to stay home a little longer, and if they catch it, they won't spread it to somebody else, we hope. As of September 9th, that number approaches 150 total COVID-19 patients in Sanford Health hospitals. An overwhelming majority of these patients didn't get the vaccine. That number is where we expect it to be as numbers continue to increase. These people aren't out. Once they go in, they're in. Notice she's not in the first part of this anyways. They're not talking about a discharge rate. They're talking about refrigerator trucks. How can we avoid a surge? The first way to help avoid a COVID-19 surge, vaccination, in all caps. This is the thing that Kristi Noem cited as, they're making progress. Where was she? There you go. Here you go. Thankfully, we are making progress in the fight against the virus. Therapeutics are proving more effective all the time. Data out of South Dakota hospitals shows monoclonal antibody treatments are cutting hospitalizations of vulnerable individuals. It is saying no such fucking thing. They're having a surge. These people are in there. They're not lowering it. All right. However, okay. This is their own paper. This is what she cited, God damn it. First way to help is get vaccinated. Boy, and there you go. Not in caps, but, bold. Besides the titles, the only bold thing in there. Another option, monoclonal antibodies. We'll get to that. Vaccination is still the best way we know to avoid suffering and possible death. What your body does really depends on how much you're prepared. If you're prepared, train your body to see the virus by vaccinating yourself. You're probably going to be able to fight it off without being hospitalized. The proof is in the numbers of those who opt not to get the vaccine. The proof is in the numbers for those who opt not to get the vaccine. The people who are in the hospital dying. The people who are in the hospital who survive but will have long-lasting damage. These are all people who didn't get vaccinated or waited till the last fucking second. My buddy, and I've told you about this, I have a friend who got COVID on paper after he'd been vaccinated. He technically qualifies as a breakthrough case. He got vaccinated the day before he tested positive because he knew he'd been exposed. So he got exposed and he went, oh shit, I know somebody who's got COVID, and he went out and got vaccinated. So he'd had his one vaccination, and then he came down with it 2 days later and then got tested and had it. So 2 days after he'd been vaccinated, he got COVID. Well, he had COVID already. It just hadn't gotten to the level in his body where he could, where it showed up for a test. But he'll show up on paper as a breakthrough case. And that's, by the way, not a cousin of a friend in Trinidad or a friend of my cousin in Trinidad has swollen balls story. That's one-to-one. Talk to the dude. Know him personally. Jesus. If you're not willing to do that training ahead of time, what she means by that training is teaching your immune system by getting vaccinated. What a weird fucking thing. Listen to the language they're having to use. Is this what appealed to Kristi Noem and the Christian CrossFit community? Dude, it's like taking your immune system to the fucking gym, bruh. Right? Then possibly you could end up in the hospital. Then the possibility that you could end up in the hospital increases fairly dramatically. And the possibility that you could die from this increases very dramatically once you get in the hospital. So those 150 people are on relative death watch right now. Another option, monoclonal antibodies, kids. This is an outpatient therapy Sanford offers to treat COVID-19 positive patients at a higher risk for hospitalization, at a higher risk, meaning you've tested positive. And this is basically last ditch vaccination. That's effectively what they're trying to do, is just load you up with cloned antibodies for it so your body doesn't have to produce them, which is what your body does when you're vaccinated. This is cheating vaccination. By the way, monoclonal antibodies, the mAbs, that's putting a foreign antibody in your system, and your body can react and have an immunological response to mAbs. That's why whenever you're on a mAb, like all these, drugs you see advertised on the news, on news programs all the time, if you look at their real name, the real name of the drug, not the, Shinalex or Gleaminex, right, from the brain candy. The end of it says MAB. That's a monoclonal antibody. It's a form of treatment. This is just like getting an injection of it to get you up to speed, basically, to fight it off once you've tested positive. It's a monoclonal antibody made synthetically to be directed against the coronavirus. I don't know why these assholes think that the vaccine's somehow sketchy, but this injection is fine. Both are reasonable ways to fight this, but the vaccine's going to prep your body to do it, and it's not temporary. The drop-off after the monoclonal antibody treatment, because your body will end up fighting the monoclonal antibodies in some cases, especially if you're at high risk for some things. That's why they have to be careful with it. That's why you have to do it under a doctor's care. How is it that all these like anti-vaxxers are like, I'm just going to get the monoclonal antibodies. I want to get the Regeneron because Trump got it. He also got the vaccine, dum-dum. The mRNA technology is now being tested in different cancer cases. Oh yeah, it's a great technology that was lagging behind because it was actually so good that you couldn't patent the overall usage of it in all these different diseases. So nobody wanted to have that be their main drug on the market or their main treatment because anybody could make it, a generic of it much easier. So Sanford opens up infusion centers for COVID-19 treatment. That's this stuff when people get it and they're like, oh shit, I tested positive and I'm a lifelong smoker and whatever. So they'll rush in. You're going to need to get the monoclonal antibodies. And everybody's going to, I just got the monoclonal antibodies and I was fine. Like, fucko. You know how much, medical care you take up doing it that way when you could have just gotten a shot? Fucking hell. It's the antibody that the body doesn't have or have enough of yet. That's what that is. You're just, basically, you're standing on you're born on third base, saying, and acting like you hit a triple to fight directly against the COVID infection. You're putting synthetic antibodies in your body. There are problems with that, but it is a treatment that weighing it against the probability that you might end up going, long haul on a ventilator, that's a better choice. But they have to give you other stuff to make sure your body doesn't freak out to that treatment as well. I don't get how these folks will wig out about, I don't know, the vaccine and the and yet this treatment is somehow fine comparatively. It's just, I'd rather get that injection than this injection. It's super weird. Has anybody talked to I'm just getting the Regeneron. I'm just going to get the monoclonal antibodies. I'll just get that. You're getting synthetic antibodies put in your body. And again, good on you. Get it. If you, but again, you're using up a treatment that could be for people who have, issues that would stop them from getting the vaccine. Oh, right. The vax is spreading COVID. Right. Well, then wouldn't synthetic antibodies too in the same stupid idiot, ridiculous medical theory that they're throwing around? It's been shown remarkably effective for eliminating the need for people to go from I'm sick at home to I'm sick in the hospital. Right, because you have to get it at that point. The problem is most of these people that are ending up in the hospital they're the hoax folks. So they don't actually think it's real, so they'll stay home until it's too late to use the Regeneron monoclonal antibody treatment on them anyways. I don't get it. So it's been very important for us to talk to our doctors, talk to our nurses, now talk to our patients about the fact that if you get diagnosed as, do I qualify for one of these antibody cocktails? Because those antibody cocktails are the type of thing that can decrease your risk of having to be admitted to the hospital later. Yeah, this is the next thing. It's like, do you know how expensive this is to administer compared to a vaccine? It's a whole next level. And it's just, what a dick move. And now that's what they're having to do in all these states. It's like, you've tested positive. You need to see if you should get the monoclonal antibody treatment. Nah, I'll just go home, take some zinc and some horse shit. Just eat a road apple. Just bite into it. Breakthrough infections will happen. When you've been vaccinated, it can present itself in a variety of ways. No symptoms at all. Mild or cold-like infection or hospitalization. According to the latest data, Israel joins the United States in having one of the worst rates of COVID-19 per million in the entire world. Look at the Israeli data versus United States data in highly vaccinated population. If you look at the number of people who have died per million in Israel, it's less than half the people who have died in the United States, which means the vaccine is still doing a very good job of preventing hospitalization death, even in people who have breakthrough infection, which is exactly what you would expect a good vaccine to do. Can monoclonal antibodies be used on children? That's a good question. It would depend. It would be the doctor's opinion about it, and the blood work would matter, I would think. Yeah, monoclonal antibodies are engineered from a clone cell. Exactly. They are a generic antibody against it that is being injected into you in large doses. What about in-person gatherings? Like wear a mask. They're saying all the stuff Fauci's saying as far as wear a mask in these places. And then what are they showing here? Here's a nice little picture. What's Sanford Health putting up on the screen? Tell us a little story. Oh, wait, I'm not. Why am I not hearing you? Let me go over here. Hold on one second. For some reason, I'm not hearing the audio from him, but let me check it. Dink, dink. There we go. I think that'll do it. Nope. Hold on. Oh, I see. That's my fault. I turned off the other. Or did I? Curious. Huh. Oh, maybe the audio source is going through a different thing? You guys are seeing it. There we go. Hold on one second. Add this. This is them showing, this might jump in really loud, so I'm going to bring it down a bit. There we go. Add a source. Drink. Let's see.
In those beds for the nurses to be able to care for all of them at once.
Sorry.
And that's really the reason for our pleas this week and last week, and it'll be next week as well, is to make sure that we can keep people as safe as possible as we go through this spike.
I'm going to go back in this because I want to, that was just way too loud. I apologize. This is them talking to the folks in Sanford. I couldn't hear it. I was setting it up, so I should be able to hear it in a moment. Yeah, let's do this. Boink. There we go. Now I'll be able to hear it. One would think. Okay, here we go.
I've seen lots of comments that say, yeah, Sanford has lots of hospitals and lots of beds, so it's really not very many people. I think it's important to recognize that all of those hospitals and beds are staffed by nurses who have been doing this for a year and a half. And they are worked hard and tired and already taking care of your heart attacks, your strokes, your pneumonias, all of the other things that people come in with. And so my honest request is just to make sure that we can do everything we can to not wear out those nurses, to not wear out those patient care techs, to not wear out those folks cleaning our rooms. Because these next 2 months, if we're not careful, could put too many people in those beds for the nurses to be able to care for all of them at once. And that's really the reason for our pleas this week and last week, and it'll be next week as well, is to make sure that we can keep people as safe as possible as we go through this spike.
Yeah, as we go through this spike, we're just going through it. Yeah, Kristi Noem, we're just going through a spike. It's like California fires. You know what I mean? We just do. It's like fire season, and you have anti-vaxxer season. It's loud and there's a slapback echo. Okay, so there's obviously something. I beg your pardon. I will pause that. I won't need to use that the rest of the shoe. It should be in there. I do not know why it's being restrained. See, I'll take that out. Here. Yes, I want to remove that. My brother's an ICU nurse right now, and he's broken. Yeah, we started this out with everybody clapping for people who were, frontline workers who were putting their lives on the line, dealing with this shit. And now it's like, stop bitching, just flip these assholes. Let's get on with it. Like, it's gross. So, but remind everyone, Kristi Noem's telling everybody on the right wing, if Biden has a vaccine mandate, and proving right now that there is no mandate. There you go.